Yo, these have been the craziest 12 days of my fucking life. Google just keep going back to back to back to back to back to back to back. This ain't even fair no more, huh?
This is VEO-2, Google's second iteration, and somehow it manages to surpass every single video model that currently is available. And that does include the recently released Sora 2, which was from OpenAI. And it's really surprising considering Google haven't had the best track record, but it seems that this December, Google have surpassed everyone's expectations in terms of what they are capable of with regards to AI development. As
Damn, I'm shocked. I'm gonna let it finish, but Google?
we've had update after update showing us that Google clearly are now the industry leader when it comes to AI development. This marks a historic moment as this is a time where AI is more competitive than ever, and being able to top the leaderboards in terms of software that is not only the best, but the best by a decent margin. This means that Google is clearly back on their AI game and is setting new standards for other industry leaders to live up to. Now, incredibly, like I said before, not only is this something that is
Now, with all due respect, I ain't taking nothing from Google. Congrats to them. But yeah, I gotta understand that's the largest search engine we got right now. And the amount of data they have to train on is fucking ridiculous, bro. So while OpenAI and their model kind of gets backlash for copyright and all the other stuff, Google just harvests all of our data since, the dawn of the internet. I guess they get to skip a lawsuit too, right?
visually appealing as well as visually striking. When you do take a look at VEO in terms of the actual benchmarks, we can see how it is compared to others and how those other models performed. You can see right here that Meta's MovieGen, a 1080p video generator that is remarkably good, doesn't manage to match up. It is only preferred around 30% of the time, and over 50% of the time, we can see that Google's model takes the cake, as well as Kling 1.5, which is a model that I know a lot of people in the creative industry are using for various different projects, and it's been highly touted as a model that is outstanding. We can also see one of the very best models, Minimax, actually coming in at just 30% when it looks at how much they preferred that model, and of course, Sora Turbo, OpenAI's.
Honestly, I don't like how data is being presented this generation. Like, I get there's different forms of AIs that could be utilized, so you kind of categorize them all together, while you leave your company as a standalone company with the data and metrics that y'all tested on. That's not how y'all fucking test. There's no controlled experiment. That's not how you motherfucking test, bro. You don't take one variable and then mix everything else with the variable and compare it to that one variable. It has to be two variables, bro. Like, like you can't put other preferred. Give me what others prefer. Like you have to make the data make sense.
Recent iteration of models, we can see that that one actually is the least preferred when it comes to looking at what kind of models are preferred. So overall, across the board, we can see that Google's models are clearly better than any other industry standard text to video generation models, which is, like I said before, very surprising considering that this is their second iteration and they didn't release the first one publicly for quite some time. And it seems like, or it would have seemed like, Google would have been behind considering a lot of other people were using many other models. So overall, right here in the benchmarks, you can see that over 50% of the time, near 60% of the time, people will be choosing Google's models in terms of full video generation. When we also look at the prompt adherence, I do apologize for the quality here, but we can see as well that this is where Google's models also outperform. Now, one of the things that I do really like about this model is the fact that this model does have incredible physics capabilities. One of the large issues with these video generation models is
Yeah,
that they are
that's dope.
generative AI systems, meaning that things aren't really understood at the physical slash granular level, which leads to inconsistent slash hallucinated outputs. But Google have managed to cook up something new here with VEO-2. It doesn't give us details on the entirety of the architecture, but whatever they have done shows us that this model is one that really and truly understands the physical world. We can see that cutting the tomato not only looks really, really juicy and plump as the knife is cutting through it, all those subtle movements and changes and vibrations are visible in the tomato. And then when the tomato is laid onto the other one, we can see it actually does look
Now, if we rating it based off of like, here's how I'm grading it. You remember how you play video games and if you really was a gamer, you got to see the change in graphics, how shit got so like grainy to HD and it was like fucking amazing, bro. That's how I'm comparing this. I feel like a lot of other AIs can motherfucking cut a tomato and make a video of cutting tomato. What makes this video a little stand out is the tomato on Google's end is like juicy. You feel me? It got a little juice in it. It's giving like human. You feel me? Like that's all I could say. It's giving I'm a real boy, Pinocchio voice. So I fuck with it.
incredibly perfect with regards to the positioning of that fruit. So overall, we have something that has a really good understanding of how objects interact with each other. I'm not sure how they've done it, but whatever they have done is working really well. Now, one of the things that can be really hard to nail when dealing with a text to video generator is, of course, dealing with liquids. Liquids are highly unpredictable and they move in ways that take traditional machines genuinely hours and hours to compute all of those little particles.
Yeah, because I could already see the syrup.
So when we do
That ain't it, bro. That should look like nah, that I ain't gonna listen. That ain't it, bro.
see accurate fluid simulations, this shows us that the
That ain't it, bro.
model that they've managed to develop is one that is really, really coherent. If you've ever tried to generate your own water simulations, you'll know just how tedious that can be. So in these examples right here, we can see that there are two kinds of liquid. You can see that we have the coffee being poured. There's all sorts of subtle nuances in the coffee that I really like to see there, those small details. And then of course, when we look at the syrup, that is also something that looks really, really detailed in terms of the syrup flowing at exactly the right speeds in terms of it compounding on one another. So overall, I do think that the physics is something completely incredible. Now, I did come across this demo in which you see someone pouring coffee, and this one looks really, really incredible.
Let's see. Let's see.
See someone pouring coffee, and this one looks really, really incredible because we act pouring coffee incredible. Now, I did come across this demo in which you see someone pouring coffee, and this one looks really, really incredible because
I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I'm gonna be the person to be hard on it. Nah, it's not it too. The cup is already full, and then you pour in a cup that's half full into already full cup, and the cup didn't spill over. That's not fucking physics. Well, what the fuck are we fooling? This nigga says incredible physics. That's not physics, bro. That's the AI trying to generate something that it can't.
we actually get to see how these liquids manage to move from one object to another. So this was something that I found to be completely remarkable. It was something that I really, really did like. For example, when he actually puts the glass back, you can see there is a slight jiggle in the water right there. So when he puts it down, you can see that the water manages to move, which is just, all these subtle details just add to the kind of realism that this model is able to generate. So this is something that gives me a large amount of confidence in Google's ability to actually get the job done when it comes to producing models that are really, really effective. And that should be to no surprise because Google are often the ones that innovate when it comes to this kind of technology. I'm not exactly sure what the exact piece of technology was, but when it is regarding the current state of video development, there was a breakthrough that Google actually made that led to the creation of many different efficient models like we do have now, such as Sora, and the other ones like Minimax. Now we can also see another example here of someone, pouring a very cold drink. Now we can also see another
Alright, now this one is a good one. The
example
reason
here
it's
of
good, you could see his hand going, like you could see the
such as
shit,
Sora and
like you could see him. What do you call it? I'm about to say it in Creole. could see him like turning it, and turning
The
it,
other
and
ones
turning it,
like mini
mixing
max.
it.
Now we
There
could
you
also
go.
see
I had a brain fart.
another example
You could see him mixing it,
here of
and you
someone
could see the ice
and the
moving.
other ones like Minimax. Now we could also see another example here of someone, pouring a very cold drink, and then we can also see the accurate fluid simulations. But enough with the incredible physics. What about the strange and the wonderful examples of characters being generated? What about a sitcom TV show with potatoes? You can see right here exactly what that looks like. I'm not sure why this person generated potatoes, but what we should take away from this is that the character consistency does look really, really effective. Now, another interesting example, if we're no longer going to look at potatoes, is this prompt of a car going top speed through a road until reaching a waterfall, and then it gets to the waterfall and jumps off a mountain. So this is a really striking example of how you can see the car managing to run through a waterfall, not run, actually drive. And then you can see that this car is able to accurately perform very well when it comes to the physics of what we're seeing here. So the waterfall looks really nice. You can see that the splashdowns look really nice. Overall, it's just something that looks really, really remarkable in terms of what the model is able to do. And I don't have any doubts that individuals that do get access to these models are going to have some really creative outputs that they're going to use. And when we actually take a look at prompts that are this difficult to perform and pull off with such a long form in terms of, the character consistency, ensuring that the car doesn't deform and mangle. One of the problems I've seen from many different video generators is that sometimes the car will morph and shape into a completely different brand or just a completely different object. So the crazy thing about all of this is that, for those of you who don't continually use these video models, you aren't actually truly understanding just how big of an advancement this is. But I'm really trying to drive that point home to you guys that this is truly a model that is a step ahead of the competition in simply all areas. And if you want to go back to potatoes, you can see this example of a cinematic action kung fu movie, and the protagonist is a potato wearing a long black leather coat, and it is raining heavily. I think this is an
I
example
think it's, I don't want to disrespect the person, but I think it's a cute animation. Potatoes, you feel me? But I don't see no technical, like, I don't see nothing technical. I see someone try the bare minimum to see if this is a good app. I know because whenever you try a new language, like when you code or program, what's the first thing you make? A to-do list, a calculator, one of them stupid ass apps just to make sure you know all the syntax and all of that stuff that's gonna be included in one of those apps. Something basic though. That's how I know this shit is like something basic. There's two potatoes in this video. Two potatoes in this video. That means they only know how to curate potatoes. Why we don't got a tree? You feel me? It might have too much details. The potato is just round and brown. So you can see why that's the base archetype.
of multiple different things coming together successfully here, such as the prompt adherence, as well as the rain looking really well there. So that example is one that honestly I can't say I would have believed is AI generated unless someone certainly told me, because everything I'm looking at, I truly don't see any issues with it at all. Now, Google's VEO project VEO, the text to video generator, isn't the only thing that they managed to launch with this. They also decided to launch their frontier model, which is a text to image model, Imagen 3. Now, Imagen 3 is essentially their image model that surpasses absolutely everything on the leaderboards. You can see here where it ranks in terms of overall ELO rating. And like I said already, I think this shows us once again that Google is taking back the reins in terms of showing us all that, look, these guys are the ones that invented most of the technology that these AI models are powered by anyways. So it shouldn't be a large surprise that they are coming back for the throne, and they are doing so with full force. So it's not just a video model that they've released today. They've also released an image model that seems to be the leader in terms of outright coherence. So if you're wondering how this model works in terms of the prompt adherence, it's absolutely incredible. If we actually take a look at the Image Labs
Oh
area
shit.
where you actually get to
Oh, I got a cramp in my neck. I ain't expect to see a rhino on a motorcycle. My
create these
fault.
image models, it shows us that the kind of UI that they use is one that is not only easy for beginners, but also even for advanced users, it's simply the best in terms of allowing you to construct a prompt that enables you to control exactly what you want to see. Credit to Ethan Mollick for these photos, but you can see right here that with Imagen 3, it really understands exactly what you want. And with the drop down ability for certain words, essentially what you're able to do is you're able to control certain parts of the image and swap them in and out. You can see right here, one of the key prompts that I found to be rather fascinating was this close up of a man's eye, and in the eye, you can see it's reflecting some garlic bread, which is a really difficult prompt to pull off. So this is once again another example of Google's models pulling ahead. We also get
Alright. That one, and it's detailed too. Alright. Alright, Google. Yeah, did your shit.
so
I give
this
it
is
to you.
once again another example of Google's models pulling ahead.
You say what you want. You gonna earn that. You gonna earn that thumbs up, boy. And it's really because the garlic bread detailed into a pupil, nigga. That's as technical as you gonna get, my boy.
To pull off. So this is once again another example of Google's models pulling ahead. We also get to see a photorealistic image of a potato fighting a vampire on the
Alright. This is where I'm gonna see if this is a very good generated photo. Alright, yeah, it's good. Mainly because the moon look like the moon, like on the floor and stuff, and stars in the background. Can we stop using a potato?
moon, which is rather interesting. I'm not sure why anyone would prompt this, but that is the point of AI, for you to embrace your creativity and explore all of your ideas. So overall, I think it is absolutely incredible that Google have managed to produce VEO and Imagen 3 that are state of the art in terms of their performance compared to any other company, and it seems to be that way by a long shot. So with that being said, Google this week have simply reclaimed the throne in terms of video, in terms of text to image, and of course in terms of their overall AI models and the future. So with that being said, are you guys more bullish on Google now? I certainly am. Looking forward to anything else that they have.
Yo, no, I'm not gonna say that because then I might like fuck with a nigga. But honestly, Google, ah, 10 out of 10. I give it to you. Y'all made TensorFlow. Y'all making tools to make developers' lives easier. Even though you harvest our data, sell it to the highest bidder. At least you tell us and you give us options on what country you want information to be sold at. You can't be mad. The nigga still gonna sell your shit.